might be just more of a nigga with a laptop. Like, it has less to do with what the fuck you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
Because ain't nothing going on right now.
It's just
like, I'm not even paying attention to what you're doing. I know ain't nothing going on.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's just bringing you back. You might as well. You didn't have to be charged for that. It can be.
Right. We gotta turn the TV down.
Think you fooling? We not new to it. We came to fluid. House game on the wood. My cup filled with mud. I came out the hood. Sometimes the gangsta need a hug.
We good. Look, we're all good.
As long as you can call it a thing.
That's good.
Look, it's all good. This the one.
All right.
We can out the hood with this one.
Yeah,
we made out the way. But what is good, YouTube? This is the NSTG Podcast. And today we have our second guest. Very special guest.
Very special guest.
Mr. Brian Simmons.
I'm still trying to figure out my NSTG name. Do I get one?
Man, what you
I don't know. Computer guy, what do you say?
Yeah, do some research on that one.
NSTG, I don't know.
Big B. Lil B.
Oh, then we rock.
Lil B.
Look. We're working on it.
We're working on it.
But besides that, very special guest,
You can really speak on that. That's your guy.
Southern University Assistant Band Director, Brian Simmons.
Yes, I'm the guest today, everyone. I don't know what we will be talking about. We have not rehearsed. There were no preliminary questions or anything, so it's right off the fly. We just
Raw and authentic. That's how we like to give it. Raw and authentic. Pause if needed.
Okay.
First, I just want to start it off. So, what got you into music wise? Like, you were like a family thing. You were born into it. Just an interest you had since you were young.
Music in general.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I always like to have my own stuff. So I always like to have my own space. So I remember I got a CD player. And it was like my own thing. So when you get a CD player, you gotta get CDs. So when you start listening to it and getting into your own world, and then I got to about 7th, 8th grade, and that's when you gotta start making decisions like, what are you doing? You know, first through 6, you kind of just do your work, go home. But like in 7th, 8th grade, you have to decide like, okay, am I gonna throw the ball? Am I gonna,
do a little after school activity? You
And so, band, of course, it wasn't like the first choice. It wasn't my first choice, but I was like, man, I'll do it. It was the easiest thing to do. All you had to do was like go home, get your people to sign up for them, and use in the band. Right? So I did that, and I stuck with it. But I think I stuck with it because it all related. It opened up a whole new world, a whole new understanding of the stuff. I put on my headphones, and then I come to practice. The next thing you know, you come to practice when I did a song you listen to on the stand. It's like, all right, this is
kind of work.
Yeah, this is kind of a thing. So I guess I just stuck with it. If that makes sense.
Nah, it makes total sense actually.
That's how I got into band, low key. It was just something to do.
I'm about to say, y'all in the band, so I mean, speak on that. Like, I stayed away with y'all too.
I was in band like 6th grade. I just did it to get out of like other stuff, honestly.
And then I was good at it.
About to say what?
Wait, what you said?
I just remember you're supposed to be in Southern's band too.
We ain't gonna speak on that.
I feel like this is the place for this, man. Honestly, this is the past.
Well, watch this. It is in the past, but it got you to a certain point. So what you decided that something else was better for you. You know? And so I think the lesson in it all is like, no matter how long you do something, at a certain point it gets to a time where you're like, I can continue doing this. I'm not as passionate about it as I once was. I mean, I am passionate about it, but I want to focus on this. So that comes for everybody. Man, think about if you just did what you was good at your whole life. Think about it. Like that's
I never thought about that.
like if this is a thing that you were good at. Like I'm pretty good cutting grass. Imagine if I would have. Imagine if I was like, you know what? Let me just do this the rest of my life. There would have been so much potential. Yeah, there would have been so much potential I didn't tap into. Right. So it's all right.
I mean, I ain't mad about it. I mean, it's cool.
I hope not.
My partner with band, it's good enough.
You live vicariously through him?
Yeah.
Damn.
You do?
Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I watched the videos.
Yeah, ain't nothing.
I watched the videos.
Do you feel like you not going to the band ended up being better for you in the long run?
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't.
Well, it might be kind of early to tell that, honestly, but do you feel like
Like,
man, would you
I mean, I could have had like,
go back in time? Would you go?
I could have had like more connections, I guess.
Yeah.
Like more people like to talk to and stuff. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm not really tripping about it.
You're not really tripping about it.
I mean, it's just less. I mean, I could have a job.
And I think you gotta, even back to my original point, like, you can look at it a multitude of ways. Like, when the last time, you know, you played on a swing set? When the last time you was on a merry-go-round? You know,
Long time ago.
exactly, like, you get over that. You know, you do it, it's fun, it's the thing that's popping in your life that you get over it.
I mean, yeah, I definitely did grow out of band. I didn't like it as much. Well, I love it as much. I say that. But I still like, I still feel like I'm a part of it, like a band.
The bad world.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's in anything. That is something that you partake in. That's something you participated in. Like, that goes with you.
Some shit ain't you gonna go, bro.
Yeah.
You can't hide what's inside, bro.
Who say you can't hide what's inside?
That's just real talk, bro. That's what you do, bro.
Tapped in.
Real bad intervention.
Bad intervention. Remember, bro.
First question, the second question.
If you can go back.
The second question.
Oh.
Since you're talking to some college students,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
But look,
Don't be fooled. Ain't nothing going on over there. Like, until you read the question.
Right here.
No,
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Alright, so look, jumping into the question.
Let's go.
If you could go back and tell your college self, wait, hold up, I'm mistaken. If you could go back and talk to your college self and tell them, you know, maybe some words of wisdom, something like that, what would you say and why? Now being that, how long have you been out of college?
A long time, probably about 8, almost 9 years.
Yeah, not too bad.
So, I mean, that would be probably a multifaceted thing. Like, it just really depends on whatever way you look at it. But as a musician, I was always serious. So I would probably say, you know, relax a little bit.
Chill.
Yeah, like, you know, why so serious almost? Because I think I've enjoyed band more teaching than I did when I was in it. And that was just because I was always so serious. You know, so a lot of people I watch clips and I look at other people watch clips, I look at how they enjoy it. And I never enjoyed it that way.
Yeah.
It was, I always looked for what was wrong. I never got to appreciate what was right. And it was always, you know, we had this game, everybody would be on a nice little high for a couple of days. I'm like, man, we really did this. I'm like, that's done.
So you was on your Kobe shit. That's what you're basically
I mean,
that's what it really sounded like.
yeah, I mean, because, man, I was hungry.
Yeah,
You know, I was hungry, like, you know, and especially not only just to participate in something, but when your name is on it, it's a whole nother pressure. So it was like, you know, everybody would be, man, yeah, we did this, we did that. I remember we'd be going out of town. Like, when we went out of town, that's probably like when I really just chilled. And I mean, chilled, I'm talking like, I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing. But otherwise, like in band, I was always very, very serious. And it paid off. So I don't regret that part, but I think.
I mean, shit,
Yeah.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, it paid off, so I don't regret that too much. And on the flip side, as a student, I would have probably said, apply myself more.
In the school aspect?
Yeah, apply myself more in school. I mean, I have all the degrees, certificates, certification, all that other stuff to, you know, basically stamp what I did and the quality of work that I did, and it was pretty good, but I think sometimes in life we are far more brilliant than we give ourselves credit for. And I think our brilliance is almost prescribed, you know, like, so when I was in school, the teacher gave me an assignment, I was like, yeah, you know what, if I really put my mind to it, I could make 110, but you know what?
LA.
That was him, like, he's...
I'm my partner.
No, it was like we was talking, like, and y'all said something, and he wasn't saying that the whole time. He was looking at the score, so the score was quiet. Like, I'm trying to get you some DJ headphones, like something.
I'm social media guru.
Social media guru.
This nigga give himself names and even do shit yet.
But that won't be. But when I say some trash on his horn, it's a whole topic. Like,
I wasn't doing.
tell me, sir.
Nobody knows.
No, I know, and he
I
knows.
got clips.
Clips of what? Easton sounding bad, and you sounding better, louder, better. You sound better than the band.
I thought y'all was the second best band in the city.
The second best band on Canal Street.
They said, I thought they was the second best band in the city. Alright, so who the best band in the city?
Hey.
Good. Probably all of them.
I feel like he the one I should tell you.
I mean, I would say.
Of course, you're gonna say your school.
Yeah,
probably.
but I wouldn't say. I would say St. Augustine. It goes back and forth. You know, St. Augustine was consistency for sure. And the car, St. Augustine.
The Atlanta Walker, I'll probably say.
Third.
Yeah, Eastern probably.
But St. Augustine living off pride at this point. Like, legacy. They living off legacy.
Something they watched?
I ain't saying they washed.
But it ain't what it used to be type shit.
But if we talking about just right now, but if we talking about just right now, I'm not putting them on the cup. I think
you're a lump, so
yeah, you're biased. You're biased. But again, I think it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth, and then like you can say like people live off reputation and all of that stuff. But
very true.
Who doesn't? Coca-Cola live off reputation.
Yeah.
You know, Popeyes live off reputation.
She's like, man, you gotta answer everything.
Yeah, you know, when it works, it works.
Yeah,
you know, even though they do the same stuff they've been doing for the longest. Of course, they incorporate new things, but people still excited to see it. And every time you perform, it's somebody's first time seeing it. So you wanted to be consistent. Car is very good as far as excitement, as far as just being culturally relevant with the time and stuff like that. I think Car has a little advantage over everybody else in that area. So if I'm in high school and I don't know anything about band, I would choose Car over I would choose St. Augustine. But if I'm more of a traditionalist, I would choose St. Augustine.
Just like the stature of being in all band.
And it's whether I first saw them in 95, 2005, 2015, they look the same. It's the same. You know, like there's some quality in that.
No, I know exactly what you're getting at. Like that's like going to Alabama right now or something. Like, it's just because it's Alabama football.
It's
the same jersey. Yeah, it's the same shit. Like you know what you're getting yourself into. Like it's just a different stature. Like Nick Saban was my coach. Type shit. Like
and even with that, Nick Saban probably changes and grows, but it's not ways that you would see.
So
you know,
it's like slight.
And at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it's not for y'all to know that. All you care about is the winning.
Right.
So behind the scenes, he could be changing and moving and doing all this other stuff like that. But as long as you get a dub, you really don't care.
Yeah.
You want the tradition of winning. That's all it is. But I think I like Carter. Carter is very entertaining. And I'm not saying that in a condescending way, but it's hard to be creative in these times. Just like it's hard to be consistent, it's hard to be creative.
So you find it harder to make the new songs or what? Like, come on, songs
no, it's just the era that we live in. We live in an era where everybody can do their own thing whenever they want to do their own thing. Yeah. Like, if you say, I want to listen to J. Cole, you can go on your phone and listen to J. Cole right now, whatever you want to listen to. So with that being said, your attention span is short. Yeah. So if anything not serving you, you're going to cut that off and you're going to go to what serves you. So I think the hard thing now is finding something that serves everybody simultaneously. You know what I mean? If that makes sense?
People like a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. So versus in the 80s, Michael Jackson served everybody. I don't care who you was. Everybody, like Michael, but watch this. You had to listen to whatever they played on the radio. Yeah. You know? If you wanted to hear your own music, you had to go to the store and buy the record. You know what I'm saying? Turn it over, put it right on the thing. So versus now, it's not like that. You listen to Lil such and such, he listen to Young Hootie Hoo. So we don't know, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to find what unites everybody now. It's hard. It's hard, especially in the age of social media.
Yeah, but from a just like a basic standpoint, music does kind of unite everybody.
It's universal.
I guess I'm like a specific genre, the art, the music, like the form of music.
That's the first thing I heard about.
What? It's a universal language.
So what does that mean? So what does that mean?
I feel like everybody.
And I you fail, what does it mean? He said the first thing you learn. So if you learn it, it's not
it's the first thing. It's the first thing
You was introduced.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
All right, and I say that because when they say music is a universal language, that means that it's read and written the same everywhere.
Yeah, no matter what.
So if I take the Warren Easton fight song and I go to Japan, I give it to a student, they can be able to play it. Like it's not a question.
I thought it was meant for like a people thing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but that's it unites everybody because we all read the same thing.
That's what I thought it meant though.
Stuff y'all listen to, man.
Listen, smoke.
Turn juke up.
I mean, some of it's good, but some of it be like, okay, this is a bit of excessive. You know, this is a bit aggressive.
It's a lot.
In a way,
publicity helps.
I mean, but
publicity.
But watch this. Let's call it what it is. Don't switch. You say, okay, going viral. Yeah, that's gonna do that. I said, well, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna get it fun. I said, you sure that's gonna get it fun? And he's like, well, publicity. All right, no, we're here. Don't go here.
About getting funded.
Right. Okay. But anyway, going viral does not necessarily get you funded. It does create publicity, and even though all publicity is good publicity for some people and for some entities, you know,
all publicity cannot be good publicity.
Right. All publicity is not good publicity.
Like Sean Watson right now. He's getting a lot of publicity.
Serial credit.
A serial credit.
That's extreme. Very extreme.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
The juice is loose.
Michael Jackson. Look, Michael Jackson. All publicity is good publicity. You know what I mean?
That's yeah.
It just depends on the person. Like some people like that attention. So as long as your name certain like 6ix9ine.
I tell people all the time, the only thing worse than being bad is to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some people rather be trash than to not be at all. You know, not even be in the dance. And I see it all the time with bands. When you battle the band, and then you had that one band who's just so trash. But then you had that band that's there who nobody cares about. And it's like,
nobody.
Yeah, like, you know, and it's less of who they are sometimes, and it's just more of like what you exude, what you put out. So, publicity can be good in that field as far as like just hits and people knowing that you're there.
But I feel like y'all publicity is always good. Like always.
That's just a juke.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it's just like a juke thing.
A juke thing.
That's just
can't speak for other bands.
Thank you, Spender fella. Thank you.
Bill, waking up every day, doing what you like to do, what you love to do, and then I have a follow-up question after that. But knowing every day, waking up, knowing you're going to do exactly what you love to do. You know, I can wake up.
That's a blessing, man.
Yeah. So how does it feel knowing?
We're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Basically, we're trying to live like that. Even though every day ain't sunshine and rainbows, you know.
Right. And then everything, it comes with some attachment. Everything comes with attachment. You can wake up and do what you love to do, but something is hooked on that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more so about just learning to appreciate the blessing in that and not being too caught up in, the flip side. Because sometimes the flip side can cloud the judgment, So going to work every day, I try not to attack it like it's work. I try to attack it like it's an assignment. I try to attack it like almost like an on-site type job. Less of me clocking in, more of like, okay, we'll go back to the lumber, then all right, I gotta go here, I gotta get this lumber.
This is my product. This is not a job.
Yeah, so I try to attack it that way, but
which is easier to do when you like to do it.
Yeah, and somebody asked a question. It was like, what would you do for free? If money wasn't an option, if I was a billionaire, what would I do for free?
Yeah.
What would I do for free? I could do that for sure. And it's good to just bring people some sort of thrill, and I think the gift of it is, I'll listen to music or whatever we're doing or whatever is hot in pop culture, and I have to take it in and then feed it to another medium for people to be able to appreciate in a way that they've never thought of before. It's almost it's almost like creating. And I mean, it is, but it just in a grander scheme. So I mean, that keeps me going. That keeps me fueled. And also, just man, the many people you come across, the many people like this guy here. There's gonna be another one of him. There's gonna be another one. Like there's gonna be and less of just his personality, but just his situations, his circumstances, and to constantly help and guide and shape and mold and bring that person through. Man, that's a blessing in itself.